anyone who's been watching, okay. At 12 o'clock, we have Florida, who's 4-4, trailing to Texas A&M, who's 3-5. Texas A&M's favored by 3.5 points on ESPN. For all you newbies out there, thank you. Shout out to Tom Grossi. That was a great thing. Thank you, Sky. Thank you so much for all you guys subscribing to me. It means a lot to get all the way up to 119. I've been working a long time at this, so it does mean a lot to have so many subscribers in such a little amount of time. But what I normally do is every playoff eligible football team I predict their games for, and while at the beginning of the year that is every single football team, eventually it goes down, obviously, and I end up doing only about a couple games a week. Florida is obviously not a playoff eligible football team, as well as Texas A&M. They're both fighting for bowl eligibility at this point, but Florida is where I go to college, so I'm just kind of required to do their games. Anthony Richardson, though, somehow first round draft prospect. I don't know. I love Anthony Richardson, but I don't know if he's a first round draft prospect yet. He's got 114 to 207 this year, thrown for 1,638 yards, 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Montrell Johnson Jr. has had 70 carries for 449 yards and 7 touchdowns, and Justin Shorter has had 21 catches for 471 yards and 2 touchdowns. Haynes King through the air for A&M has gone 81 to 142, thrown for 941 yards, 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Devon A-Chain on the ground has had 142 carries for 765 yards and 4 touchdowns. And Evan Stewart had 38 catches for 478 yards and 2 touchdowns. Texas A&M is 3-2 against Florida all time. Last 2 games have gone to A&M from 2017 to 2020. 2012 was the last time Florida won on the road at A&M. So, the Gators here. I think the tough battle for the Gators is going to be on the defensive side of the ball, and it's going to be stopping the run, right? They kind of struggled with it last week against Georgia. They found the third quarter kind of groove for a little bit, but then in the end of the third quarter kind of slipped away, and the fourth quarter, the Georgia Bulldogs were just able to run rampant on my Florida Gators. So I think the big thing you got to do if you're the Florida Gators is you got to stop the run. Another thing is you have to get the run game going. I understand you weren't able to do too much of it against Georgia, mainly because a lot of your plays went out the window in the first half when AR-15 got hit late out of bounds. But the Gators are a good football team. I will stand by that. They're a 4-4 football team. That's not a good record, obviously. But we drew Kentucky and Tennessee at the beginning of the year, and that's a rough 2 teams to draw at the beginning of the year because Florida was still getting their feet under them. And still, we almost beat Kentucky. We had a chance to send that game to overtime if Billy Napier doesn't go for 2 for absolutely no reason. But we lost that game. We lost the Kentucky game. We got lost to Georgia, obviously. And LSU is a good football team, okay? And we were very close to sending that game to overtime as well. If it wasn't for a kind of bogus roughing the passer call, we could have beaten LSU, honestly. We could have beaten Kentucky if we don't go for 2 there. We could easily not have those 2 losses, and those are against 2 top 10 football teams. So, I'd like to point out that Florida's 4-4, but it's not a bad 4-4. And they're actually getting better as the season has gone along. The Gators they're doing well right now. I'd argue the Georgia game was good, despite them losing pretty badly. I still think we played a heck of a game against one of the best teams in the country. We gave them 3 quarters of hell. So we made it 1 possession there for a while. I'm really proud of my boys. I think they actually did a good job against the Georgia Bulldogs, all things considered. I think A&M's a weak football team. I think everyone would kind of agree with that. They're not a good football team right now. I can't believe this is a football team that almost beat the Alabama Crimson Tide. But remember, they got to go 3-1 down the stretch, and I think we give them one of their losses here. Give me the Gators to win and cover on the road and pull off the upset.